Eckhart Tolle is one of the world's most renowned spiritual teachers and the author of the international bestseller, The Power of Now. And in this book, he shares a simple yet profound rule that can transform your life. It's a rule that has the power to end your suffering. And all it requires is that you stop believing everything you think. This might sound like a strange concept, but let me ask you a question. How much of what you think is actually true? We all know that our thoughts are not always accurate or reliable. Sometimes they're just plain wrong. So why do we give them so much power? Why do we believe everything we think? Well, the truth is that we don't have to. In fact, Eckhart Tolle argues that most of our psychological suffering comes from believing these thoughts. Thoughts like anxiety, fear, and stories we create about the past or future are just that, thoughts. They're not facts. They're not reality. They're simply electrical impulses in our brain. So if we stop believing these thoughts, we can stop giving them the power to control us. When we learn to observe our thoughts without judgment or attachment, we begin to see them for what they really are, just thoughts. This allows us to step back from the constant chatter in our minds and to find a place of stillness and peace. But why should we do this? What will it get us? Well, according to Eckhart Tolle, it will get us everything. He says that when we stop believing our thoughts, we awaken to our true nature. We become free from the limitations of our ego and open to the infinite possibilities that life has to offer. When we wake up in the morning, most of us do so with a sense of dread. We know that there will be problems to solve, tasks to complete, and people to please. And so we start thinking about all the things we need to do. We make a list of all the things we need to get done today, and then we start checking off the items on our list. We go through our days in a mindless, mechanical way, just going through the motions. We're so busy trying to meet the demands of the world that we forget to live. We forget to enjoy the present moment. According to Eckhart Tolle, this is because we're listening to the voice in our head that tells us we need to work hard and strive to achieve our goals. But this voice is just an egotistical tyrant. It's not who we really are. So how do we stop listening to this voice? Well, Tolle suggests that we start by becoming aware of it. We need to realize that this voice is just one of many voices in our head. It's not the only one. There are other voices too. These are the voices of our higher self, our intuition, our creativity. In order to hear these voices, we need to quiet the mind. And this can be done through meditation, through spending time in nature, or simply by taking a few deep breaths and focusing on the present moment. Once we've quieted the mind, we can start to listen to the voice of our higher self. And this is where things get interesting. The voice of our higher self is wise and compassionate. It knows what we really want, and it will help us to achieve our goals in a healthy and balanced way. We don't have to listen to the voice of our ego anymore. We can choose to follow our hearts instead. Eckhart Tolle says that when we start following our hearts, we begin to live a life that is both successful and fulfilling. We achieve our goals, and we also find happiness and peace along the way. The problem with most self-help advice is that it's complicated. There are 12 steps to achieving success, 7 steps to finding happiness, 3 steps to improving your relationships. We're told that we need to do all these things in order to change our lives. But what if it was simpler than that? What if all we needed was one simple rule? That's what Eckhart Tolle proposes in his book, The Power of Now. He says that all we need is one simple rule to transform our lives, and that rule is to stop believing every thought that passes through our head. It sounds simple, right? Well, it is simple, but it's not easy. We're bombarded with thoughts throughout the day. Some of them are positive and some of them are negative. But what Eckhart Tolle is saying is that we shouldn't believe any of them. We shouldn't believe our thoughts. We shouldn't believe the stories we tell ourselves. We shouldn't believe the labels we've been given. When we stop believing these things, we start to feel lighter. We start to feel more at peace. And that's because we're no longer carrying around all the baggage that we used to carry. We're no longer identified with our thoughts. We're no longer attached to the outcomes. We're simply present, and when we're present, we're open to all the possibilities that life has to offer. Eckhart Tolle says that when we stop believing our thoughts, we start to see the world in a new way. We start to see the interconnectedness of all things. We start to see that we're all one. And when we see this, we start to feel compassion for all living beings. We start to feel grateful for everything that we have. And we start to live a life that is both meaningful and fulfilling. In today's world, it can be difficult to quiet the mind and focus on the present moment. There are so many distractions vying for our attention, but if we make an effort to do so, we will find a sense of peace and calm that we've never experienced before. So here's my challenge to you. For the next 21 days, try to stop believing every thought that passes through your head. Try to be present in the moment and enjoy the now. I promise you, your life will be transformed. If you're struggling to quiet your mind and focus on the present moment, there are a few things that you can do to help you along the way. First, you can start by setting aside a few minutes each day to sit in silence and just focus on your breath. You don't have to do this for a long time. Just a few minutes each day will help you to build the habit of quieting your mind. Another thing you can do is to start practicing mindfulness in everyday activities. When you're eating, really savor the taste of the food. When you're walking, really feel the sensation of your feet on the ground. When you're talking to someone, really listen to what they're saying. When you start doing these things, you'll start to become more aware of the present moment. You'll start to notice the little things in life that make it so special, and you'll start to feel more grateful for everything you have. Finally, remember that it's okay to ask for help. If you're struggling to quiet your mind or to focus on the present moment, reach out to a friend or family member. You can also seek professional help if needed. The important thing is that you don't give up. Keep practicing and keep believing that you can do it. And as you practice these techniques, remember the words of Eckhart Tolle. Stop believing your thoughts. Stop believing the stories you tell yourself. Stop believing the labels that have been assigned to you. And start living in the present moment. Start living in the now. And when you do, you'll find a sense of peace and calm that you've never felt before. You'll find a life that is both successful and fulfilling. You'll find a life that is truly your own. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope that you're able to apply this simple yet powerful rule to your own life. Remember, you don't have to believe every thought that passes through your head. And when you stop believing these thoughts, you'll begin to see the world in a new way. You'll begin to see the interconnectedness of all things, and you'll begin to feel more connected to yourself and to others. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.